Scala Ad Caelum is set to return in Kingdom Hearts 4. The brand new images we got a few months ago shows us a gameplay image of a playable Mickey segment exploring Scala. This makes sense as at the end of Melody of Memory, Yensid explains to Mickey that his next mission is to go to Scala Ad Caelum to learn more about the Lost Masters and Quadratum. So we're going to be returning back to this gorgeous new original world that was first introduced in Kingdom Hearts 3, and that aspect alone has me super excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. I want to learn and see more of this world. Something that Missing Link was going to provide for us, but unfortunately that game is now dead. Something that I haven't seen a lot of people talking about though is the Scala that exists within the present might not actually look like the Scala we've seen in both Dark Road and Kingdom Hearts 3. I think it's easily overlooked that the Scala we go to in Kingdom Hearts 3 isn't actually a real world. This version here was fabricated by the Guardians of Light, created from Xehanort's memories of Scala from his time during Dark Road. This is the world as it existed during Xehanort's youth, about 70 odd years in the past. So because this world derives directly from Xehanort's memory, it probably explains why Xehanort has a certain level of physical manipulation of the world's structure during his boss fight. Not sure if you've noticed, but during the third phase of the armored Xehanort fight, when Scala's all destroyed, you might notice how chunks of it are actually made out of what looks like some type of a blue crystal material. I believe that this is further evidence that the Scala we're seeing here is artificial. Once Sora defeats Xehanort at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, he then closes the portal that leads to this version of Scala. So it definitely raises the question of how exactly does Mickey make his way to the real Scala Ad Caelum? As far as we know, it's not like any of these characters have previously been to this world before. So considering that this mission is given by Yensid, no doubt he's got some idea as to how to reach it. This could mean though that the Scala that exists within the present might look a little bit different compared to how we've seen it. Now it's not like it's been hundreds of centuries since Xehanort's time in this world, so I wouldn't expect it to look drastically different, but we don't know what happened to this world after the events of Dark Road. We've got no idea if this world is still inhabited by people, as we can assume that during Xehanort's youth, this was a bustling and very busy, very populated world. It's a multi-tiered ringed city with multiple islands all interconnected via a cable car system. So was the world just simply abandoned after the Dark Road massacre and Odin leaving the world? Or did the civilization in this world continue to thrive? If this was the case, we'd have to assume that Keyblade wielders would be a lot more common. As we know in present time, compared to the past, it does seem as if Keyblade wielders are a dying breed. At the end of Dark Road, it's explained that Odin continued to train both Ericus and Xehanort to become Keyblade Masters. Once they ended up passing their mark of mastery, they would then go on to take Master Odin's place in Scala Ad Caelum, to presumably continue to train Keyblade wielders. This is so that Odin can finally retire, as explained by Ericus, settle down in some cozy little world. We still have no idea where Odin ended up, but I have to imagine that either a future Kingdom Hearts game will explain this, or Missing Link have planned to explain this. What's interesting about this is Ericus did go on to become a Keyblade Master who would eventually end up training Keyblade wielders much later on in his life, but this isn't taking place in Scala Ad Caelum, but rather the Land of Departure. I've always had this strange feeling that there's been some type of a link between Scala and the Land of Departure. After all, is this some world that Ericus randomly stumbled across in his later years after the events of Dark Road? Or is there truly some type of a connection between the two? The Land of Departure is still largely shrouded in mystery. Its origin is unknown, along with what Xehanort and Ericus were getting up to spanning the years between their youth and the present of Kingdom Hearts. As we know, Ericus used this sort of magic to be able to seal the Land of Departure away. This allowed the world to be transformed into Castle Oblivion. But who exactly taught Ericus this technique of being able to transform the entire physical makeup of a world? We've also got no clue how Scala Ad Caelum changed from its iteration of Missing Link to the version we see in Dark Road and Kingdom Hearts 3. I wonder if it was a similar technique given whatever catastrophe ended up taking place at the end of Missing Link caused one of the characters to seal Scala Ad Caelum away, transforming it into the version we see here. I have wondered if both the Land of Departure and Scala Ad Caelum are the same world, and that Ericus ended up using that world transformation technique after he took Odin's place to transform it into the Land of Departure. Ericus does explain in Birth by Sleep that generations of Keyblade Masters have been charged with keeping this land safe, referring to the Land of Departure, and that it was his predecessors that came up with the magic to transform the world. As far as we know right now, this world doesn't have a long-spanning history reaching into the era of Kingdom Hearts Key, unless it were to be Scala Ad Caelum. I'm sure it was most likely Master Odin that taught Ericus this trick. Well, Nomura had surely not thought of Scala Ad Caelum back when Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep released in 2010. If he wants to explain the Land of Departure's origins right here, I can really see LOD being Scala Ad Caelum to explain this line spoken by Ericus. There are some loose similarities between the two worlds that make me think this. The chains that go from the castle of the Land of Departure that are hooked to the mountains surrounding it are very similar to the cables that are all interconnected between the different islands in Scala Ad Caelum. While both of the castles are completely different in structure, the design is a little bit reminiscent. Why does Scala have these lamps that resemble the Land of Departure's castle? I mean, come on! Now look, I might be reading into this way too much, and the likely case is I am. Hypothetically speaking, let's say that the Land of Departure truly is Scala. If Yensid had knowledge about this, given that during the events of Kingdom Hearts 3 he has clearly been studying up on the foretellers, as seen on his chalkboard here, then Mickey would be able to travel to the Land of Departure and somehow unseal the world, transforming it back into Scala. In my mind, this is the only thing that logically makes sense in terms of how Mickey would reach Scala Ad Caelum. Of course, this is Kingdom Hearts. Scala and the Land of Departure could be two entirely separate worlds, and by the forces of Disney magic, a random Yensid portal is used or some time travel technique is tapped into in order to travel to this world. Time travel is also another method that I've thought about as well. The use of time travel is incredibly common nowadays in the Kingdom Hearts narrative. Looking at the screenshot, the Scala that Mickey is in is clearly inhabited. I mean, someone is still paying the power bill, so he can't be the only one there, right? There is a theory that floats around that the Mickey that appears in Kingdom Hearts Key is rather not a projection from the Tome of Prophecies, but rather could quite literally be Mickey himself, possibly arriving from his time spent in Scala Ad Caelum during the events of Kingdom Hearts 4. However, I'd like to imagine that the Scala that Mickey is exploring in Kingdom Hearts 4 is one that is set in the present. I also want to point out this little design on the wall as well. While there isn't 5 prongs, the design of this icon does remind me of the castles designed in the Land of Departure. Again, I know I'm drawing strings, but in my mind, it makes sense. There's still a large amount of mystery surrounding Scala though, but most of these questions will hopefully be answered in Kingdom Hearts 4. Do you think that this world is going to look different yet again within the present timeline of Kingdom Hearts compared to how we've seen it so far? I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions on this topic point, so let me know in the comment section down below. However guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. Be sure to slippity slap that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. A big thank you to my wonderful patrons and YouTube members. I appreciate the ongoing support. I hope you're all having a fantastic day, and we'll chat again real soon.